Retirement has become a real big issue here in the United States. In fact, a recent study has shown that 1 in 4 Americans believe that they will not be able to retire.
Okay, here's something that most people probably don't really think about. Because you're so used to seeing the elderly and maybe your own grandparents, the boomers, that have their pensions, retirements, and, you know that money's tight, they use coupons, they don't do much, but, they manage, they get by. Most people going forward, especially if you're probably like under 50, you will never retire. Almost nobody will in the future. There's so many things that have gone wrong between the inflation, the complete removal of pensions. Even a lot of pensions that are out there are going to have trouble one day with the markets. You could talk about the national debt. You could talk about pending interest rates. But there's so much going on. I think Denmark, even over in Europe, they just pushed their retirement age to 70. That's what we're trying to do right now. We're basically going to have to push Social Security back. Nobody's going to get rid of Social Security. What they're going to do is they're going to push it back so far that you'll be dead before you ever get it. And it's because it's really an illiquid system. I think for every 2 people paying into it, there's somebody receiving it. The government has leached off of Social Security for so long. Then what they did is they attached the Social Security Disability Fund, which is, the last I checked, probably somewhere around 13 million people are collecting off of it. And that comes from Social Security also. So people used to get the full amount at 62 and a half. That's crazy inflation. And then even with that, you'll hear people say that, I can't live off of that. And what they do is they have another retirement. Like my parents, they're lucky. They did good. They were both retired military, and then they became teachers, and then they just retired as teachers. So they're basically both double retired, and now they get Social Security. My generation will get nothing. I did not work in the government. That's great for all those government workers out there that will get all those taxpayer pensions. But what about the rest of us that pay into it? Well, we're going to get nothing. I won't have a pension from a job because jobs don't give pensions anymore. And Social Security won't be there at the full amount at 62 and a half like it was for your parents. You'll have to wait till you're 70 minimum. By the time you get to that age, if you can hold out to 70 to try to get the full amount, they'll have pushed it back to 72, 74. The point is they need everybody to keel over because they don't have the money to give you anymore. The good old days are done. Inflationary pressure is still there, and it's going to keep going because your government doesn't know how to stop printing money. They don't know how to stop printing money, funding foreign wars, and doing things that basically destroy our dollar. And they just don't know how to stop. And the past 20, 30, 40 years of these politicians are going to have ruined everything for your generation and your children's. So it's interesting just when you think about it, what happens when you get older? What happens when you turn 50 or 55 or 60, and let's say you're in a job that has manual labor and your back goes out or your knees go out? Well, they're going to start making it harder, I think, to even get Social Security disability because, again, it's becoming an illiquid fund. So just what's going to happen to people? My prediction is in about 10 years from now, I know a lot of areas homelessness has increased, but I really think in about 10 years, you're going to see a whole lot of homeless people. And I think America is going to become this weird place that almost dystopian, where it's just going to basically be the haves and the have-nots. It's already there. The middle class is already somewhat eroded out, but there's still a little bit left. Most people are tapped out on credit cards, have almost no savings, and are paycheck to paycheck. I've made a video about that before. As of last year, about 2 out of 3 people didn't even have $500 in their account of liquid money in case something happens. So you got 2 out of 3 people in this country that are basically a paycheck away from becoming homeless. Now, when the homelessness crisis starts to really hit, because people will lose everything, they won't be able to afford a home, won't be able to afford anything. This will also come if you have a major recession or a depression in the future. But as of right now, I'm just saying as your age, we're just only talking about your age alone. But what's going to happen to people when they get to that age where they can't work anymore? They're really, really struggling to work. Those days of retiring at 60 or 55, they're over. I don't think people pretty soon will ever retire. I think you'll have to work until you unalive.
So retirement has become such a big issue here in America. A lot of people are very concerned.
Hey, Shalom. I want to give all praise, honor, glory to Yahweh, Bashem Yahushai, Bashem Kakadash. Double honors to my apostles and elders of great millstone. Salutations to the 144,000 and 130 left, the nation of Israel. And the brother Kabash from the JMS Atlanta camp, and I'm here with the whole 35 list through the spirit of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. And in this lesson, I'm going to get into this video. This is starting with the book of Micah, chapter 2, verse 10. And as you can see, Jake, here in America is really over with. Like the scripture I'm about to read, this is not our rest. Just like the last Edomite just spoke about, you're going to have to work until you're unalive. And it's no joke, man. There's no end of this rat race. And guess what? The Lord said he's not going to suffer us to dwell in Egypt anymore. This is another form of Egypt for our people. This is spiritually Egypt, Sodom and Egypt, like it says in Revelation chapter 11. Revelation chapter 11 really gives out the whole layout of what we're going to be doing in the end. The major events that caused us to go into captivity in our last captivity, and what's going to be at the end of our last captivity. And we're at the end of our last captivity. So right here, verse 10 says, "Arise ye and depart." How are we going to rise and depart? Well, in this video, the lady goes into, her family members saving up and going overseas and having their money to work out their retirement over there for them. And no, that's not what the Lord is talking about. The Lord is talking about arise ye in the spirit. Because the Lord is blowing the breath of life within us, pursuing Ezekiel chapter 37, which is this word, and that's making us depart. That's making us arise. For this is not your rest. Yeah, America, Babylon the Great is not our rest, because it is polluted. It should destroy you, even with a sore destruction. Yeah, it's destroying us, man. Jake ain't retiring at their age, and younger Jakes like us, we ain't retiring ever in this society. You think the Lord is going to keep us beaten down in this damn man system? Look at our apostles and elders. They aged in Babylon the Great. They had no gray hairs at one point in time, but now they got a head full of gray hair, and they up in age. So we gotta get the hell up out of here, man. And the way we're gonna get up out of here is by way of believing in the Heavenly Father, saying what He's gonna do, and by the signs of the prophecies. We're pretty much at that time of the Lord delivering us. This is 2 Ezra chapter 15, verse 10. "Behold, my people is led as a flock to the slaughter." Yeah, we're led as a flock to the slaughter every single day. Some type of shadow of death activity going on, whether it's by plague, whether it's by actual murder or killings, whether it's a job or whether a person that's pursuing another person to try to murder or kill them. Just working to death, not knowing the Lord, evil advertised throughout America. This is what the scripture is going into. And you don't know what tomorrow may bring. There's a lot of articles about our people getting slaughtered here in America, Babylon the Great, from baby age all the way to elderly age. And even if you're doing the right thing, you're going to get slaughtered here in an undesirable way. It says, "I will not suffer them now to dwell in the land of Egypt." And He's not suffering us. Why? Because He has the men of the Lord out on the highways and byways preaching this truth about salvation to you Israelites. "But I will bring them with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm, and smite Egypt with plagues as before, and will destroy all the land thereof." And Egypt is metaphorically talking about America. It's just another word for our captivity, because that was our first major captivity we was ever in as a people of the Lord, in ancient Egypt. And the Lord did wondrous works that we got up out of that hellhole in a safe way. The Lord's going to do it this time, but it's going to be on a whole another level, like it says in Jeremiah chapter 16. There should not be said that the Lord taking them out of the land of Egypt, but out of the land of the north. The land of the north is talking about what? North America. That is what that's talking about. So I got another precept, then I'm going to wrap it up. But the Lord said He would not suffer us to dwell in the land of Egypt anymore. This is the book of the book of Matthew, chapter 24, verse 14. And it says, "In this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached." This is the Lord talking to the disciples about the last end, the signs of the end. "And the good news is preached about the kingdom of heaven in all the world," not only in the world where the remnant stayed at over there in the east before they was taken into captivity, the last captivity again, from 1619 to 1969, which is 350 day. Oh, it's like a 350 year mark, which is the 3 day and a half. That's written about in Revelation chapter 11. No, it's talking about now, because that's when the Lord was going to have us arise and depart from this place spiritually first. It says, verse 14, this gospel of the kingdom should be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations. Yep, and that already happened. Everybody's talking about us, from Jake that know that they're Israelites and Jake that don't know that they're Israelites, and that as those that proclaim that they are Israelites. You got celebrities, normal everyday people talking about us, the government talking about us, Project Megiddo, everything. And then should the end come. So the end is now. The end is now, man. And guess what? The Lord is about to make his move. The Lord ain't about to have us in this damn captivity, suffering any longer, man. So that's all I had on this. Today I'm going to say shalom.